So today, the morning both sessions I'll be taking, and we'll be discussing on two parameters. First one is the outcome-based education, mainly in the articulation and mapping part, because yesterday's session you might have learned about how the curriculum, like OB, what is the OB framework, and how the Bloom's taxonomy is used to make the COs. And I hope that most of you must be from the colleges where the accreditation has been already in place, and you must be doing the course outcomes and program outcomes and POs mapping and articulation. So my first session is totally based on the COPO mapping and their formation and formulation. And in the second session, I'll be then talking about the curriculum design process, right? So let me share my screen first. Just give me a second. Again, I would request every one of you, those who have any queries, any question in between also, you can raise your hands and I can just discuss or address to your query. So you all are aware of the OB model now? Can I get some inputs? Are you aware of OB model, or do you can unmute?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am, we are aware of it.
Yeah. So most of you are aware
Yes,
of
ma'am.
OB.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I will just, those who are not aware or some knows I'm seeing. So for them, I'll just brush up with the OB model, right? But my more emphasis will be on the importance of program outcomes, course outcomes, their framing, and their evaluation and the mapping part, right? So focus will be on this, but in between, or I would just give you the just brush up with the knowledge of the outcome based education, which has been covered yesterday also, and most of you must be doing it. And as I always say, that because you all are also faculty members with quite a good experience, so your experiences, your knowledge, and your backgrounds should enrich our discussion. So do not make it a monologue. We should have a dialogue and an interactive session where your inputs also matter and you can just discuss with everyone, right? So OB, as we all know, is basically a model which focuses on the measuring and achieving the predetermined educational goals. If I show you this, which you all are aware of, that it is basically a PDCA cycle, that is plan, do, check, and act. So, first and the foremost pillar of the OB is the planning part, that we call the outcomes. Planning at the very beginning, that why we are designing any curriculum, or why we are teaching this subject, or why we are floating this program, or why the institute or the university is starting this program, right? So the planning part is the foremost part, which includes the vision of the department, like, or the vision of the institute. And we all know the vision means it's a long term goal, very precise goal, which we foresee that after 10 years or 20 years, what are the goals which we want to achieve. So that is the vision statement, right? And to achieve that vision, what steps are to be taken, they constitute the mission statements. This we all know. So every institute has a vision and mission statements, and in consonance with those vision and mission statements, every department has its own vision and mission. That after 20 years, what is the vision for the department? That is the planning part. What steps are to be taken to achieve that vision? Those are the mission statements. Along with those vision and mission, we have three more plans that is the outcomes. When we are saying outcomes, means at every level, what we are expecting out of these students when he completes his or covers one subject, or when he completes and covers one lab, or what outcomes are expected when he completes the 1 year of his course program, or what outcomes are expected when he covers the entire program. That is, if he is in a 4 year BTech program, or he has come for the 3 year diploma program, or 5 year integrated whatsoever. So what are those outcomes, right? And we all are aware of, we call them, the terminology which we are using is course outcomes at the end of every course, program outcomes at the end of at the end of the program, and apart from this we have one more outcome, that is program educational objectives. Because the OB model considers that whatever we are teaching to our students in the entire duration of 4 years or 3 years, we should not just leave the student after the completion of the program, but we should also take care and cater to the student's competency even when he completes his degree, even after 5 years of a degree. Means when he completes his degree and he gets a job, so after 2 years or 3 years, how he is performing in his office, how he is growing professionally, how he is depicting the leadership or management qualities, how he is showing the communication skills or interpersonal skills. If he has gone to the higher studies, how he is performing there. Is he able to self learn? Is he exhibiting the ethics, academic ethics, or human values? So, all these things are also be taken care of, and they are the part of the program educational objectives. I will cover them one by one. So these are the planning part. So once the planning is done at every level and every stakeholder is involved, when we are planning for the course outcomes, every teacher is responsible for it. When we are talking about program outcomes, the head of the department, the authority, the coordinators, they are looking after this. The program educational objectives, again, the administrators are doing envision and mission. So once the planning is done, then comes the doing part. So, what we have planned to achieve those outcomes, we have to come into action, and that is in the form of the curriculum which we design. So, curriculum not only includes the syllabus, but it also includes the pedagogy part, how we are teaching the subject, what are the teaching learning process we are employing, how we are evaluating the students. So, the entire T&L process is the doable part which is done at every level. Once we do it, then we check it, that what we have done for the students, to the students, how, what achievements we have attained at the course level, we have taught, whether the student has learned it or not, how we are evaluating him, what type of questions we are asking, on what criterias, what assessment techniques or tools we are using, right? So that is the checking part. And once the assessment is done and checked, then obviously what we have planned and what we have attained, there might be some discrepancy. And the beauty of the OB is that to bridge this discrepancy between what we have planned and what we have attained. So, and because of this means, if in the beginning we have planned that after the completion of a course, the student should have a competency to say design a amplifier, but when we checked after delivering this, teaching the subject, and after delivering the contents and asking the questions, was the student able to design that particular amplifier with that proficiency? So, if yes, it means what we have planned we have achieved. But if no, it means certain steps are to be taken, which has, by which we can move in the direction of bridging the gap between the planning and the attainment part. And if we are able to bridge that gap, It means our actions which we have taken in one form or other is in the movement direction of the quality improvement. Because what was expected out of the student, if we are able to attain, it means student has learned. If the teacher is delivering in a good fashion the pedagogies which he is employing, there the teacher is also growing, right? And when student and teacher are growing, obviously the department will grow. So it will be improvement in every aspect and in every phase. So this is the crux of the model of OBE, which is the PDCA. And this acting part is a very, very important role it has to play, which usually we at many institutes I have observed that it does not happens. So I'll talk about this also. So when we say the uh, curriculum designing part, first the OB model should be clear to all of the faculty members and even to the students also, right? So the OB is basically based on the constructive alignment of the entire learning environment, which moves or which encourages the various learning activities of the students. So the entire environment should be designed in a such a way, not only the class, even the labs or hostels or campus, anywhere, the entire ecosystem of the providing the education to the students should be designed or should be created in such a way that the student should be able to achieve the desired outcomes, right? So the right, so it basically OBE focus on that what are the takeaways. If the student is learning one subject of, say, simple applied physics, what he should learn after the completion of one subject, one unit, or after the completion of the subject. If he is doing a simple, okay, engineering graphics, so what is expected? Even a subject of environment, what he should know, what he should able to deliver, that is the strength of the OBE, right? So when we are talking about the outcomes, because it is outcome based education, so it is very important to know what outcomes we are expecting at what levels, right? So I won't go into much details of this because some of you are almost aware, and some part has been covered yesterday also. But yes, the outcomes means the capabilities or qualities which students should acquire at the end of their that study duration. So if I say the course outcomes, it means the qualities which are expected after the completion of the course. That may be 6 semester if it is semester based, so one subject after 6 months, or if it is yearly, it is one subject after 1 year. So that is one level of course outcome, sorry. Another outcome is the program outcome, which I said, which we expect that the graduates, when they become the graduates, in the process of becoming graduates and just completion of the graduation, what capabilities should a student exhibit, what qualities he should show, what uh, competency level he should show. That are the program outcomes. Now, there is one another outcome, program specific outcomes, right? Some of you must be aware of it. Actually, the program outcomes for the technical programs are fixed. They are fixed by NBA. But there are certain, some like management programs or architecture, degree in architecture or tourism, uh, the program outcomes which are specified by the AICT or NBA, they are not able to justify the outcomes which are expected from the student of, say, architecture or, as I said, management or humanities or tourism. So some flexibility is given that apart from these program outcomes, you can define program specific outcomes that are which are more pertinent to the particular program. So they are called the PSOs. Apart from the POs, we have PSOs, but they cannot just 2 to 4 PSOs, which will justify the outcomes which are expected from the student after completing that particular program. Okay. Then the fourth level of the outcome is the program educational objectives, which I already mentioned, that these are the outcomes which are expected after 3 to 5 years of completion of their graduation. Right? So hand holding is not only till the student completes his graduation, but even when he moves to in on the path of his career or on the path of his social life, how he's performing. So the learning which we are making him do in these 4 years of graduation program, how it is going to help him through his life to achieve his goals or objectives, right? So why we are giving so much of emphasis? Because if these type of outcomes are clear to the students as well as to the faculty, it will help the students to learn more effectively, because they will be knowing that if I'm studying a subject of, say, communication system, so if I'm studying a subject of communication system, what is expected out of me to learn from it? If I'm learning a subject of machines, what should I know? Right? What experiments should I be able to perform? So the student will be very clear in his objectives. The teacher will also be clear that because I want this output from the students, so my curriculum should be like this, my teaching style should be like this, and how I have to evaluate the student, that should also be there. So if OB is properly formulated and it is defined and objectively it is processed, then it gives a very clear cut directions to the students as well as to the faculty members, right? And not only the students and faculty, OBE gives the guidelines to develop the curriculum. See, you will be astonished when I'm using these words that OB gives the curriculum, because right now what we are doing, curriculum is there, syllabus is there, and we are writing the course outcomes and program outcomes. Is it or not? How are you people? Okay, some inputs from you. How
Yes,
you
yes,
people are doing?
yes, madam.
Yeah. So you are anyone can, they can put your views in the chat box or they can share the views. You have the course curriculum, subject contents, and then you write the course outcome. Is it or not? I have 191 inputs and I'm getting only one output. Yeah, yes. So we are doing like this, but I tell you that this is not the right way to do. See, actually, the curriculum design or the actual flow, we should be okay. Thank you for the inputs. So, actually, ideally, it should go in the top down method. If the vision of an institute or the department is clear, you can know that what should be the mission statements, that what steps should be taken to achieve that vision. So if mission is clear, 3 to 4, then we should frame the program educational objectives. Okay. Okay. If I give you one example, so say the vision is, if I talk about, okay, electronics engineering department. So one of the vision is that the Department of Electronics and Communication should have a center of excellence, act as a center of excellence of, say, IoT, Internet of Things. Okay, so this is one of the part of the vision, because vision is one statement. So it means if the vision is that the department should be a center of excellence, so the one of the mission statement should be that there should be a PG program or the doctorate, and emphasis should be given on the IoT. So this is the mission. So, and then keeping this mission in the mind, then the PO should be framed. So we see that, so one of the POs will be that after the completion of the program, this BTech, the student should be well versed and should be able to acquire a job in the field related or in a company related to IoT. Am I clear? Am I clear? So we are moving from top to down. So PO, one of the PO is that the student after completing degree should excel in the field of IoT. He might become entrepreneur. He might get a good job and move ahead into IoT related activities. So if that is the PO, it means one of the program outcomes or two, one more or more than one program outcomes that the student should be able to design the project related to IoT. The student should be capable to synthesize or analyze the projects or study of IoT. So if this is one of the program outcome and you need to achieve that program outcome, so it means your course outcomes of the subject should be, so if that is the practical aspect of IoT should be there, theoretical concepts should be there, basics should be there. If IoT you want to make a student study sensors, he should know about sensors and transducer. He should know about microcontrollers. He should know about embedded. If he should know about microcontroller embedded, he should have knowledge of digital electronics. If he want to have knowledge of digital, he should have some basics knowledge of physics and maths. So you see how the things are coming in the how the subjects are coming there. I'll talk about this when we design the when we talk about the curriculum process. So ideally, framing of the course outcomes, program outcomes, and designing of the curriculum should be top to bottom approach, right? But we are doing other way. हमें curriculum दे दिया है, we have the subject and contents and we are writing course outcomes related to this. No, this is actually the wrong way. Okay, we'll discuss this in my next lecture. But when we talk about the attainment part, that is the bottom up approach. So attainment has to be first at the course outcome level, whether outcomes at the courses, each and individual course, whether it is theory or lab, whether attainment is there or not, outcomes what we has been planned have been achieved or not. If course outcomes are achieved, then they will lead to the attainment of the program outcomes and they will lead to the attainment of the program educational and that will lead to the vision and mission of the department. So short outcomes and long term outcomes, but they are complemented to each other. The changes in one of the outcomes or attainment or non attainment of one of the outcomes will directly affect the other outcomes also. Am I clear? So actually, and the curriculum is here. Okay. So actually, we should go in this way. The practical part is this. So now, if we say, now we know about the nuances of outcome based education, and we are into the process of designing the outcome based curriculum. So, precisely three steps are there: the input part, the process, and the output part. So, the input is vision and mission, the POs, as I said, okay, and there should be stakeholders. OBE gives very importance and stress upon the involvement of the stakeholders.
I'm Jil Bajaj.
Yes, sir.
I'm from Jil
So,
Bajaj Group.
whom do you consider are the stakeholders? Yeah, they're writing faculty, students, parents, yeah, alumni, industry experts, or the employers, those who take your students. Yeah,
Sir, employees, ma'am, also there are for the stakeholders and which contribute in the growth of that.
exactly, sorry, Pratap Singh ji. So, employees also, and
And
I
student.
see the
So,
social community also. The society
Yeah,
around
ma'am.
you is also a stakeholder. Your students, after graduating, are going into not only the industry but as a social being also. So the
Yeah, ma'am.
stakeholders are very, very important for the entire implementation of the outcome-based education. So that is the input part, and then the process includes framing of the curriculum, because see, education has three things: what is to be taught, how it is to be taught, and how the assessment evaluation has to be done. So, drafting the curriculum, keeping in mind all the course outcomes, all the program outcomes, and then you design the curriculum, what pedagogies are to be employed, what teaching learning processes are to be affected, and then how the evaluation is to be done. So that is the process, and output is the attainment of the outcomes, and then we have, okay, the approval of the curriculum or BOS, or we can go for the accreditation also for the quality part. Okay, so, and then because see, the OBE model is a very win-win situation, because it is a closed loop analysis feedback system at every level. See, you must also be doing it. Course outcomes at every subject, you are assessing whether the outcomes have been attained or not. Then you are analyzing, okay, if they are attained, it's good. If not, then what are the factors? And then you take certain steps to complete those if gaps, right? So it means at every level, at every outcome, whether it is course or whether it is a program, same loop is covered, and same, assessment and evaluation and analysis is done, and steps are taken for the quality. So that is why the OBE, we call it as a very foolproof quality system for the education. And when we are defining this, we are including all the stakeholders, whether they are alumni, whether they are committees, parents, teachers, all, and along with it, the long term vision and the mission statements. So that is why we call it as a win win situation. So, very briefly touching, we all know vision statement, which is long term, vision, which gives the long term goal of that particular institute or the department, but which has to be, which gives a very clear picture, very ambitious picture, right? Distinguished picture, but it should be achievable also. It should be a guiding torch for the decision making and planning. And to cover this vision, we have the mission statements, right? What micro steps are to be followed for achieving the vision which has been stated? That may be in form of involving or doing the brainstorming sessions, or taking the feedback from the stakeholders, from the advisory boards, from the experts, right, from the BOS, and then doing the SWOT analysis also. The mission statement should be formed, right? So, P, before we come to the attainment mapping part, so POs, when we frame the POs, we should take care that they should be consistent with the mission, right? They should be manageable, they should be achievable. If we write, okay, PO is that after 5 years, the student should become the CEO of a company, you cannot expect, right? You cannot expect a student doing simple graduation and he may exhibit so much of professional competency that after 5 years becomes COE, until as he does not opens his own institute or open his own organization. So whatever we write in the POs, it should be specific and it should be achievable. It should not be a very random haywire kind of objective which should be written. Okay, and a proper committee should be there. Proper sessions should be conducted, keeping into mind the institute mission vision, department vision mission, and taking the inputs of all the stakeholders, doing the SWOT analysis of the department, and then coming to a consensus by uh, each one of those who are involved. And if there is a consensus and it is satisfactory, then the POs should be finalized. So a proper structured committee should be there, and proper in the proper fashion, the committee should take the steps to publish the POs. Okay, and if you want to modify POs, then it can be done after 5 to 7 years, so that you have at least 1 to 2 batch of students from which the data can be collected, and you can see whether the POs can be modified or not, or if they are to be modified, then what should be done, right? Any questions up till now? Okay, so next, coming to the program outcomes. So see, the OBE, one more thing I wanted to specify, that OBE is based on three main parameters, that is knowledge, skills, and attitudes. The entire education system, in fact, I would say, has to map the capabilities of the students or the competencies of the students to the knowledge and the skills which we are always talking about, but now we talk about the attitude also, right? There is no dearth of knowledge. If you it's not just only a book or the teacher giving the notes to the students in form of knowledge. There is now, you every student in his mobile has plethora of knowledge available. Jitna marzi information the student wants, he can achieve. The skill is very important, right? The knowledge, there is a saying, the knowledge without skill is a handicap knowledge, and the skill without knowledge is, skills without knowledge is adhuri knowledge. Like this, there is a one saying. So knowledge and skill should go hand in hand. It should not be that only knowledge is sufficient. No, skill should also be there. And only skill without knowledge also makes you handicapped, right? So these two parameters, the OB, one of the pillar is the knowledge, other the skill, and the attitude. If you have, the student has the mobile and his attitude is not to learn but just to play around, he will use the mobile for a different purpose, right? So attitude is very important. I can go in the other direction talking about this, but I'll keep myself focused in this part. So the program outcomes which are framed by the uh, you know uh, uh, Washington Accord. So for the or I can say that attributes depicted by the graduates. So they were known as the graduate attributes earlier, but now the because India has become the member of Washington Accord, so the program outcomes are fixed. But if, like for technical education, program outcomes are fixed, but for non-technical, like for arts, humanities, okay, and psychology, mathematics, all these, the program outcomes are not fixed. So but with the coming changes in the NEP, the UGC has also come up with the uh, OBE should be now implemented on the non-technical or non-engineering uh, subjects also. So it is very important to understand that how the what the POs are focused on and how I have been they developed, and we should get a clear cut picture when we talk about that how the POs are attained. So program outcomes, no doubt they are fixed, right? As I if I show you, uh, yeah. So these are the graduate attributes. These are 12 engineering knowledge, right? There the language is fixed and it makes you understand that what is this about. So problem analysis, that the student should be able to identify, formulate, review research literature, and analyze complex engineering problems, reaching substantiated conclusions using first principle of mathematics, natural science, or engineering science, right? So there are 12, and if you see, the first five are more into the technical aspect and the domain specific, whether it is design or development of solution, conduct investigation, or modern tool usage. So first five are more into that. Next seven are the catering to the overall development of the student, holistic development of the student. So it is the engineer and the society, that how the knowledge gained by the engineer, how it is going to use that knowledge for the society, for the health, for legal, cultural issues, how it is going to help the environment, and how he can demonstrate his knowledge for the sustainable development, ethics, professional ethics, right? How the student is going to perform in a team. We are developing a student who is having a CGPA of 8 and 9, but when he goes for the job, he is not able to perform in a team, but and he will not be a successful professional, because no doubt he has the knowledge, but he cannot work in team. He does not have the good communication skills. He cannot express his ideas or his viewpoints, right? He has to be very clear about the management of the things, or related to the finance part also, and lifelong learning. So whatever he learns, how he can utilize that knowledge or that capability during his life throughout. So these are the 12 program outcomes. And if you see, these program outcomes are basically made by two things. First thing is, it is identifying the competency. What competency you are expecting by the student to attain, right? So what the student wants to, or and there should be measurable indicators. And second part is the performance indicators, who will indicate that this competency has been attained or not, or is measurable or not, right? Because they are, when they are actually the tools which will show that the outcomes have been attained or not. So these two things actually constitute the program outcomes. So for technical education, because these program outcomes are fixed for undergraduate programs, there are 12. For diploma level also it is fixed, there are 7. For PG there are 3, but there is a flexibility of 2 to 3 more, but 3 are fixed, and you can add 2 to 3 depending upon which program it is. But for diploma, 7 is fixed, for undergraduate 12 is fixed. But for the humanities, which does not come under AICT and all, but they have also to implement OBE. There they have to design their own program outcomes, and for that you should have a very clear cut concept of that what competencies you want from the student, and pertinent to that competency what should be the performance indicators, right? So if I say that the competency is, the student should be able to demonstrate an ability to generate diverse set of alternate design solutions. So what should be the performance indicators? He should apply the formal idea generation tools. He should be able to build the models or prototypes. He should be able to identify the functional criteria for evaluation of the design, right? So you can see the main competency is the demonstrating the ability to come up with the design solution. And what will be the performance indicator? That he should be able, first idea generation hona chahiye. If you have the idea, then he should be able to implement that idea by use of different algorithms or prototypes. And if he has designed something, he should be able to assess it, evaluate it, and then again if required, the synthesis can be done, right? So this is how the program outcomes are designed. So different competencies, different performance indicators, and then you can come up with the program outcomes. So this is one of the examples for particular like mechanical engineering. Okay. Okay, so moving to this, so these are 12 one. And as I said, the program specific outcomes, which if you think that these 12 parameters are not sufficient enough for the particular program, so you can write the program specific outcomes. So they are similar to program outcomes, but pertaining to the particular domain, right? So they are the broader idea of the course outcomes. Okay, so for PSOs also, all the stakeholders and everything should be taken care of. Okay, Then comes the main thing, that is the course outcomes, which yesterday also you must have, Dr. Sofat might have talked about the framing of the course outcomes in tune with the Bloom's taxonomy. So I won't go into much detail, but just yes, the course outcomes should be SMART. So first of all, they should be specific. Okay. It should not be a very broad statement. Like program outcome is a broader statement, but course outcome has to be specific for that particular subject or for particular lab or whatsoever, for any. Then it should be measurable, because at the end of the day we are going to check the attainment. So it should be measurable and it should be attainable. It should not be a very writing something very fancy kind of language which is not attainable. Okay, it should be result focused and it should be specifically tailored for the program. So if you're writing a course outcome of a subject of um, say auditing, okay, so it should be related to auditing. Or if you are writing a subject of communication theory, so the program course outcome should be related to communication theory, not to the communication process. So it has to be specifically tailored for that particular program, right? So you can, it should be specific, that it is measurable, it is achievable and relevant and time bound. Okay. Yeah. And this you might have done the Bloom's taxonomy, three levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, and create. So this I think yesterday has been covered. So not going too much into this. Okay. Yeah. So we have already talked about this. This is one example of the, yes, I'm in the class. So this is one example of the writing the course outcome of a particular subject. So you have to use an action verb and a noun. Okay. So just I want to give you that what should not be, what should be avoided while writing the course outcomes. You should always refrain from writing a course outcome which would combine two or more ideas. So if you are on the lower order thinking skills or using one typical level of Bloom's, so try to write the course outcome using only one action verb. Do not write, okay, for if you're using high order and for say PG courses, there it can be a possibility that you can combine two action verbs. But otherwise the thumb rule should be that write the course outcome by using only one action verb. And then your outcome should not be vague, it should not be too broad. As I said, it should be specifically tailored for that particular subject or for that particular practical. And then yes, it should be written for a specialist audience, because outcome is expected from the audience. So if you are writing a course outcome, say same subject, if I say okay, physics, applied physics, you are teaching physics to the diploma student also who is coming after 10th. You are teaching physics, maybe similar contents, to a student who is getting admission into degree program or coming after 12th. You may be doing applied physics to a PG program also. So the course outcome we should be written for the same applied physics 1 2 or so, it should be tailored to the audience. The physics who is for a student who is coming after class 10th, physics for the student or the topic which who is coming after class 12th, and the physics who is coming, the student for the student who is coming after undergraduate. So it should be specific for that particular audience. It's not that physics है तो सबको वही आना चाहिए, right? So these things you have to take care when you are writing the course outcomes. Okay, so this you already has been covered, that all the six levels, what skills are expected at every level, and what are the various action verbs, because using that action verbs you can write the questions also, you can frame the questions also. So for the remember also, for understanding what skills are demonstrated and what action verbs can be used. For the apply part, for the fourth Bloom's level, that is analyze, that is identifying the complex problem, breaking into different parts, then identifying the relationship, or uh, identifying the redundant information whatsoever. So analysis part, and then evaluate, and the last is the create. So the first three are called the lower order thinking skills, and the other are called the higher order thinking skills, right? Okay, any questions up till now, or should I move further?
Madam, I had one question.
Yes, sir.
While designing the course outcome,
Yes, sir.
should we should try to cover we should try to use journalize course outcome or unit wise course
Yeah,
outcome of
yeah.
the
This
syllabus?
is a very good question, and I should have specified this. This is a very, very wrong practice to write the course outcome unit wise. The course outcomes are, thumb rule is you should write 4 to 6 course outcomes. Okay. And the course outcome should be written, which should cover the entire subject. So it's better you break your course outcomes in terms of knowledge and skill part. Okay, so if you take a subject of say any subject of say mobile communication or antenna and wave, my examples will be from electronics. You can just generalize, or any subject. Okay, says okay, C programming. Everybody is teaching C++ programming. So it should not be that the student should be able to write the loop functions, or he should not be able to write the algorithm. No, the course outcome should take care of the entire subject, that he should have the knowledge of, or he should be able to illustrate the concepts of data structures. He should be able to illustrate, or he should be able to comprehend the uh, algorithms concept. So it should not be written unit wise. But sad part of the system is that we are writing course outcomes unit wise, ke unit 1 ka ye outcome, unit 2 ka no. It should not be like that. सो इफ यू आर सेइंग कि आपको डिजाइनिंग पार्ट है, तो आप लिखिए डिजाइनिंग, चाहे वो फोर्थ में हो रहा हो, चाहे वो फिफ्थ में हो रहा है. अगर नॉलेज बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स है, मे बी एवरी चैप्टर विल हैव बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स. इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग दी एनी सब्जेक्ट, तो बेसिक फंडामेंटल कॉन्सेप्ट कुछ तो देंगे ना हम उसको. तो बेसिक्स नॉलेज ऑफ फिजिक्स हर एक में आएगा. ओके, सो प्लीज डू नॉट फॉलो दैट रूल. एम आई क्लियर?
Yes, man, can you क्या ये जो examples हैं, can
One
you give
example.
examples?
Okay, I'll see.
So that because this is a very wrong practice we all are
Exactly,
using.
exact. I agree. ये मुझे
And
mention.
many times during the NBA visit or NAC visit, they this questions arises.
I
कि
know, I know.
how you are catering the course attainments.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes, sir, yes.
Because many universities are running the MBA program, yeah, maybe another program. But many times we have seen that they are showing the different types of the outcome.
Hmm.
Why it is so? And because as we find that the MBA is the core or similar subject in the business or management or same is the other, but but what we found in the different types of the universities are different types of the outcome showing of the MBA program or PGA program.
I'm sorry, sir. I could not get your question. कि why NBA people are? Can you come again with the
Because
question?
yeah,
Huh?
yeah. Be, because MB program providing the different universities, but whenever we will go and to find the outcome of the course, so we will found the different types of the outcome of the course.
Yes, sir. हाँ. तो सर क्योंकि see the course out, okay, जैसे आप कह रहे हो, okay, say simple maths, apply mathematics subject. It is taught throughout the country for every diploma, for every degree, right? In every college. यही कह रहे हो ना आप, सबका अलग क्यों है?
जी
हाँ. सो
yes
वो नॉर्थ में भी पढ़ा रहे हैं, साउथ में भी पढ़ा रहे हैं, आईआईटी भी पढ़ा रहा है, एनआईटी पढ़ा रहा है, यूनिवर्सिटी भी पढ़ा रही है, प्राइवेट कॉलेज भी पढ़ा रहे हैं, डिप्लोमा भी पढ़ा रहा है, हर कोई पढ़ा रहा है. लेकिन जब हम कोर्स आउटकम लिखते हैं ना, तो तब, क्योंकि जैसे मैंने आपको कहा, जब हम प्रोग्राम आउटकम, कोर्स आउटकम जो भी है, इट विल डिपेंड अपॉन सो मेनी फैक्टर्स, कि आपके पास कौन सा बच्चा आ रहा है, आपका लर्निंग एनवायरनमेंट कैसा है। आप डिग्री के लिए लिख रहे हो, जो आईआईटी में बच्चा आ रहा है उसका ऑलरेडी मेंटल लेवल ऊपर है, जो एनआईटी में आ रहा है उसका मेंटल लेवल यहाँ है, जो प्राइवेट में आ रहा है उसका मे बी डिफरेंट हो। सो इट मीन्स द आउटकम विच इज एक्सपेक्टेड फ्रॉम द स्टूडेंट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर लेवल मे बी डिफरेंट, सब्जेक्ट सेम होगा, ठीक है। अब वो तो हम कहेंगे फिर करिकुलम भी पूरे इंडिया में, चाहे आईआईटी हो चाहे वो कोई हो, सबका यूनिफॉर्म होना चाहिए। आर यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट?
Yeah, you are saying right. It should be, ma'am.
इट शुड बी, बट सर डिफरेंट है ना, बहुत सारी चीजें।
Yeah, you are, no,
आपका बच्चा किस बैकग्राउंड से आ रहा है, आपके पास इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कैसा है, बच्चे का किस मेंटल लेवल पे है, आपके रिसोर्सेज कैसे हैं, वो हर लेवल पे अलग है। तो सेम आउटकम्स वी कैन नॉट एक्सपेक्ट फ्रॉम द ऑल, you cannot have all the five fingers same, and you cannot compare with an orange with an apple। और तभी जो ये जेई का एग्जाम, नीट का एग्जाम, फिर जेई करने के बाद फिर एडवांस का एग्जाम, वो यही है कि हर लेवल पे बच्चे को सॉर्ट करके, और फिर जब उससे क्या आउटकम एक्सपेक्टेड है वो अलग हो जाता है, ताकि कंटेंट्स चाहे फिर भी सिमिलर होते हैं।
Hello.
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
यस मैम,
Hello.
यस
Ma'am,
मैम,
I
यस।
want to add in there. As sir said, it is differ from university to university and other things. Agree, ma'am. The thing is, my question related to the, as you said, now, ma'am, mission. This PO
Yeah,
program should be aligned with the mission
मिशन,
statements,
या, दैट इज,
right,
यस,
ma'am?
वेरी राइट,
So,
वेरी राइट मैम, यस मैम।
huh. So, ma'am, if some there are so many institutes which are affiliated to universities,
हम्म,
right,
या,
ma'am? So, university already has defined program outcomes, ma'am.
यस मैम, वही
So
मैं कह
we,
रही हूँ ना, देर आर, और इंडिया बीइंग सच ए स्ट्रेटिफाइड, जो है ना, चाहे वो इकोनॉमी, एजुकेशन वाइज, चाहे सोशल वाइज, चाहे हमारा सिस्टम वाइज, सो सारी जगह हम एक यूनिफॉर्म वन 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 नेशन वन प्रोग्राम नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि एज यू आर सेइंग वेरी राइट, हर एक इंस्टीट्यूट का, हर यूनिवर्सिटी का, हर कॉलेज का मिशन विजन भी डिफरेंट है, इनपुट भी डिफरेंट है, कुछ प्रोसेस भी डिफरेंट है, तो हम सेम आउटपुट कैसे एक्सपेक्ट कर सकते हैं?
yes, ma'am. So that's what my question is. Ki as per institute vision and mission is different
हम्म,
from maybe from university vision and mission, but we have to follow program outcomes of universities, right, ma'am? As affiliated to Pune University. So my question, I asked yesterday as well. Ki the thing is, ki if we are going to map with COs
हम्म,
and POs,
हम्म,
we have to give the 1 2 3 ranking na ma'am, matlab attainment 1 2 3
हाँ
out
जी,
of these three. So
हम्म,
there are some PO attainments which
हम्म,
is not aligned with our COs, because again,
राइट
sub,
राइट राइट,
so
आई गॉट,
that's the loophole which
यस,
I feel ki if it is saying like ki it should be aligned with mission statement, it should be like, so that discrepancy we can find out and we can solve it by providing some things to our students. So if it is not like that, then directly or indirectly it is like what we can say, ma'am, कि university पर ही मतलब like अगर suppose it is
मैम,
not matched,
गॉट
so
योर पॉइंट,
PO,
आई गॉट योर
हाँ,
पॉइंट,
PO it
दिस
is
इज
not
द
mapped,
प्रॉब्लम।
तो जीरो हमें रखना पड़ेगा मैम, so that attainment भी फिर नीचे जाता है, and the thing is
I
कि
tell you, I'll tell you, ma'am, one thing. This is a
हाँ मैम,
very right problem for the colleges which are affiliated to a university, right? वो सबसे बड़ी दिक्कत उन्हीं कॉलेजेस में है जो ऑटोनोमस
yes
नहीं
मैम,
है, और जो किसी, दे आर
limited है,
एफिलिएटेड टू अ यूनिवर्सिटी एंड दे आर फोर्स्ड टू follow
yes
the
मैम,
course
yes मैम,
outcomes and the program outcomes, right? So
yes
इसके,
मैम,
हाँ, तो ये आई एग्री, ये गलत है। तो इसीलिए पहले प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स बिफोर 2014, every institute was having the freedom to write the program outcomes by itself, और वो इसीलिए ये प्रॉब्लम हो रही थी। तो तभी जो है, जो ग्रेजुएट एट्रीब्यूट्स हैं उनको यूनिफॉर्म कर दिया प्रोग्राम आउटकम्स के। तो अगर इफ देर इज एनी कॉलेज, एनी यूनिवर्सिटी, एनी टेक्निकल एजुकेशन, program outcomes are now fixed, right? Yes, course outcomes can
okay
vary, and that also, if the university is forcing on you, if the course outcomes are also forced on you, so that is the lacuna of the from the university part, that they are forcing the course outcome on the individual colleges. That should not be there. There should be a flexibility and freedom given to that particular college to modify their course outcome as per their institute and the students. Then they can do the mapping because the program outcomes are fixed, right? Okay,
Ma'am, but it's not happening now, ma'am.
आई एग्री, बट ये एनईपी से मैम अभी एफ्लेशन वाला सब खत्म होएगा. ये सब चीजें जो
Acha,
है ना, ये
okay.
जो डिस्क्रिपेंसीज हैं हर लेवल पे, दे आर ट्राइंग टू ब्रिज दैट. यस डॉक्टर.
Okay, 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 ma'am.
या यस, आई एग्री कि
Thank
जो
you, ma'am.
एफिलिएटेड कॉलेजेस हैं उसमें काफी इश्यूज हैं. जब अटेनमेंट भी करेंगे तब भी यही मुझे पता है, यही क्वेश्चंस आएंगे. यस यस डॉक्टर
Ah,
प्रीति.
ma'am, that's the biggest challenge for us.
Okay, so coming back to this, so one thing is there now, these course outcomes का हम अभी तक सिर्फ बात करते हैं outcome planning and the attainment part. Okay, so yeah, Dr. Preeti, do you want
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say? Yes ma'am, yes ma'am.
Ma'am, my question is, are the POs for PG courses like MCA fixed also?
Yes ma'am, three POs are fixed, and
Okay.
you have the flexibility of writing your own 2 to 3 more. So in
Okay.
nutshell, 5 to 6 POs can be there, out of which 3 are fixed.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, so the course outcomes now, okay, can I add last question? Gurpreet Kaur, yes ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, I have a question. What is the ideal percentage of the CO attainment?
परसेंटेज का नहीं है मैम, वो जो आप प्रोफिशिएंसी लेवल कह रहे हो कि किस पे अटेनमेंट होनी है,
But we just calculate
वही.
with giving the level 1, 2, 3. So if it's
I'll
highest
come
or
to that
lowest.
मैम. जब mapping,
Okay, okay,
अभी पहले मैपिंग पे आ जाए, फिर I'll come to the attainment, then we
okay,
will,
okay,
okay.
ma'am.
So the course outcome should be utilized for one more thing, and that is your the articulation with the assessment. Okay, because when you are going to talk about the attainment of the course outcomes, so attainment किससे कर रहे हैं? जो हम assessment कर रहे हैं, चाहे हम quiz ले रहे हैं, we are taking assignments, we are taking exams, mid semester, final exam, whatsoever. On the basis of those tools, that is the examinations different, we are seeing whether we are attaining the course outcomes or not. So it means our course outcomes first should be mapped with our assessment technique also. This, I don't know how many of you are doing it, but if you do it in the very beginning, in the planning part, it will help you to frame the question papers also, and it will help you to frame the to go for the attainment also. Right now, if you see, this is, sorry, one example of 6 course outcomes of a particular computer science program, right? So now if I say that my first is demonstrate the concept of various system programs. Okay, so to check whether the students have attained this outcome or not, how I'm going to check it? By giving one assignment. By another tool will be the internal assessment, say quiz or mid semester exam, and another tool is multiple choice question. So it's not that you write the question or write form the paper there itself, but it is just a articulation of that on what assessment tools the course outcomes attainment will depend. So if it is clear in the very beginning, you will be clear that okay, मुझे किस level तक पढ़ाना है और मुझे वो बच्चे को कैसे assess करना है. So if I'm saying that okay, demonstrate the concept of loaders and linkers, so one class test and one multiple choice question. If I want to do apply the optimization techniques, it can be internal assessment and choice two. So this type of, it is another way. One, if you, this is एक साथ हो गया course outcome related to program outcome, and first mid semester will have 2 questions in which these two will be, this course outcome will be catered. Course outcome may be catered to one assignment, 3 like this. So this, if it is done in the beginning, see, this is another way. If every teacher has this thing कि कौन सा लेवल है. Okay, and this is the tool. Say I may say it may be a say mid semester examination. So mid semester theory part is 5%, practice is this much, first 4 levels like this, next 3 levels this much. Say that this is because this is large, so it will be end semester or any mid semester. This may be say practical part, this may be assignment, this may be theory, and this is the final examination. So such type of, if whether this one or this one, with the course outcome and the assessment plan is done beforehand, it will be very easy for you to design the question paper and design the assessment. And every question now should be very clearly, categorically in your question paper. When we'll talk about the setting of question papers also, then also we'll see, along with the marks, the course outcomes related to that question should be defined, because student already know that this is the course outcome which I was expected, and this question is checking my knowledge related to this course outcome, right? So this type of question papers should be given to the students. I'm not going into detail, that will be covered in the coming chapters. Okay, so you can get a very wiser distribution of that, which CO is more important and how many marks are dedicated to that particular COs. So next comes our articulation mapping part, because it is a triangulation theory. That is, all the COs have to be mapped with all the POs, some of the POs, but the POs should be mapped with the POs, and POs should be in alignment with the mission statement. So it is very important first to get a correlation between all these parameters of OBE, COs, POs, mission and vision. All those should be correlated with each other, and this correlation is nothing but in the form of a matrix. So we have three metrics, I say. One is course articulation matrix, that is the correlation or showing the mapping between the course outcomes and the program outcomes. Another is program articulation mapping, which shows the program outcomes with the courses and POs. And then you have the course assessment plan, which I showed you just now, that the course outcomes, how they are mapped with the assessment methods which you are going to employ. And we all know now we are doing it. We, to make it quantify and measurable, we give the value 3, 2, and 1. If we indicate 3, it means it shows the maximum correlation or the high mapping between the two parameters. If we show 2, it is a moderate, and if it is 1, it is a low mapping, and if it is a 0, then it is zero mapping. I'll show you one like this. Okay, so you all must be doing it, but not only with the COs and the POs. The articulation matrix has to again begin with the top to down. So there should be a consistency between the mission statement and the POs, again on the similar lines, 3, 2, or 1, right? So key components of mission statements and POs can be correlated. Similarly, like this is another way the mission statements are written. These are the POs. So how they are related to, how strongly they are correlated, that can be mentioned. And then next step will be the POs alignment with the POs. Fine. So the how they are related. And then finally comes the COs and POs mapping. 1, 2, and 3 again shows the strength of the correlation, and every CO may not map to every PO, but please do take care that it should also not happen that one CO is getting mapped to 1 or 2, like in the last one. This is wrong. It means there is some problem with the formulation of the course outcome, because when you are framing the CO, at least 3 to 4 POs should be mapped with that particular CO. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि कोई भी CO सिर्फ एक से कर रहा है या एक से भी नहीं कर रहा है. It means your COs are not properly formulated. Okay, So this is one example. And when we are giving 3 to 1, it is good practice to average out these values also, because when we'll do the attainment part, then these figures and these points come into play a lot. Okay, so whenever we are writing 2 3, or this is 0 1 2, so take an average for every PO also, and take the average of every CO also. And not only CO and PO, but CO and PSOs also, because PSO and PO are similar, but uh, the the concept, or the the viewpoint is similar, but they are different statements. So the mapping with the COs and PSOs has also to be done, right? So this can be done properly for one semester. You can see the course can be written. So 4 courses, it can be shown how they are mapped. And yeah, now this was one, I think Dr. Preeti or somebody was asking, that how to check whether the attainment has been attained, done or not. So there are two parameters. I'll show you. Yeah. One is expected proficiency and other is expected attainment. So expected proficiency is that how much, what is the like percentage of the marks the student is getting, what is the proficiency level. Okay, if 60% of marks is attained by the student, or 70% or 80%, what is the percentage. And attainment is that how many percentage of students are getting that proficiency. So if I say that the 70% of students of the class are attaining 60% of the marks, then I will say the attainment is at level, say, 2. And if 70% of the students are getting 70% of the marks, then say the level of attainment is 3. And then 70% of the students getting less than or 50%, then the level is 1. So this, both the levels, whether it is the proficiency or it is the attainment, there is no thumb rule, but whatever you write, how you define, how you have come to that point, that has to be properly justified by the head of the department or by the institute, right? So if I'm saying that my expected proficiency is 70% marks, so, and but attainment is that only 50% of students, so I have to justify that on what criteria we have put these numbers. ओके, सो देर इज नो थंब रूल एज सच कि हम 80 कहेंगे कि हम 90 कहेंगे, या कौन सा है मिनिमम, क्या है मैक्सिमम, क्या है। आप जो भी लिखो, अगर पेपर डिफिकल्ट है, आप बुक ओपन बुक एग्जाम लेते हो, टेक अवे होम असाइनमेंट्स लेते हो, तो मैं कहूंगी कि if 60% students are getting only 40% marks, I say the attainment is level 3. So it is up to the teacher, right, or the department, that what criteria they are employing to define this expected proficiency and expected attainment. There has to be proper justification for it. Is this clear? Right? So this is the crux of the story. With the help of the Bloom's taxonomy, write the course outcomes. We all know about the program outcomes, but we should be very clear with the performance indicators. If these are known to you, the Bloom's taxonomy and performance indicators, you can write the course outcomes. Already the POs and PSOs you can define, right? And then a mapping should be done, articulation mapping should be done. Then we should come to the course implementation, that is curriculum design, curriculum teaching of the syllabus, then evaluating, doing the assessment, how you are doing assessment, and then checking the attainment of the course outcomes. CO should not be unit wise. Yes, ma'am, it should not be unit wise. Shiva Soni has asked how many number of POs for master. We are using 12. No, ma'am. No. 12 is too big a number. See, आप जब CO PO भी लिखते हो ना, PO ठीक है, वो NBA ने 12 दे रखे हैं, अंडर ग्रेजुएट लेवल पे, क्योंकि वो काफी एम्बिट को कवर करता है। लेकिन पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन के लिए आई टोल्ड यू फॉर इट शुड नॉट बी मोर देन 6 अभी तो थंब रूल यही है कि 3 आर फिक्स्ड, 3 यू कैन फ्रेम, 6 to 7। 12 इज टू बिग अ नंबर, उसको अटेन करना आपको मुश्किल हो जाएगा, क्योंकि वो 2 साल का ही आपका एमएससी का प्रोग्राम होगा, राइट। और उसमें फिर आपने 12 में क्या क्या डाला है, उसकी अटेनमेंट आपको हमेशा ही चैलेंज रहेगा।
हेलो मैडम। हेलो।
यस
हाँ
यस सर।
मैडम, मैं प्रोफेसर मैथमेटिक्स हूँ, बीटेक फर्स्ट ईयर में पढ़ाता हूँ। सेकंड सेमेस्टर कोर्स में मेरे 5
हाँ जी
तरीका
सर।
के मैथमेटिक्स हैं। एक कॉम्प्लेक्स वेरिएबल है, ठीक है, डिफरेंशियल कैलकुलस है, मल्टीपल इंटीग्रल है, ठीक है मैम। तो इसमें जो सीओ फॉर्म होंगे वो डिफरेंट डिफरेंट टॉपिक वाइज सीओ होना चाहिए आई थिंक।
अगर आपका ऐसा सब्जेक्ट है, क्योंकि इसका मतलब सब्जेक्ट ही जो है ना वो तरीके से नहीं बना हुआ है
नहीं, ये
कि
वी
आप,
आर एफिलेटेड टू
हाँ
अब्दुल
बस,
कलाम टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी।
हाँ
तो
वो आई
हाँ
कुड
ये
गेट इट। वो ये क्वेश्चन, इसका मतलब आपका जो प्रॉब्लम है ना वो सिलेबस में ही है। करिकुलम जो मैथ्स का डिफाइंड है
जी
वो ही तरीके से डिफाइंड नहीं है।
जी
आप खुद ही मैथ्स के प्रोफेसर हैं, तो आप
जी
खुद सोचिए कि बच्चे को आप 5 चीजें, और वो कितनी इंटर रिलेटेड होंगी, कितनी आप
या
उसका प्रायर नॉलेज बच्चे को
जी
हर
जी जी
टॉपिक का
जी।
अलग है, तो वो
हाँ,
प्रॉब्लम
अब
जो है वो
इसमें मैम पहला
कंटेंट्स
यूनिट,
सिलेबस
हाँ
में है।
पहला यूनिट है। हाँ, इसमें जो है डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन डाल रखा है, डिफरेंशियल इक्वेशन के बाद है लाप्लास ट्रांसफॉर्म डाल रखा है, ठीक
हाँ
है, मल्टीपल इंटीग्रल है। तो इस तरीका के जो कोर्स कॉम्प्लेक्स वेरिएबल है, तो इनके टॉपिक बाय टॉपिक सीओ डिफाइंड होंगे और यूनिवर्सिटी ने बना के भी दिए हैं इस तरीका से।
हाँ, वो देखिए जब ऐसा है तो तब आपको, आपके पास और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि
हाँ
सिलेबस ही आपका म्यूचुअली,
जी।
यूनिट्स जो हैं दे आर नॉट इंटर रिलेटेड, दे आर म्यूचुअली एक्सक्लूसिव।
तो कैन वी चेंज टू यूनिवर्सिटी बिकॉज द सीओज आर फाउंड बाय द यूनिवर्सिटी।
हाँ, यू कैन राइट टू देम, लेकिन जब आपके सर कोर्स कंटेंट्स ही एक सेपरेट सेपरेट पांचों
और
एंटिटीज है।
मैम वहां पर जो है गवर्नमेंट कॉलेज के जो बोर्ड ऑफ स्टडीज, जो बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर बैठे हुए जिन्होंने बनाया है, वो सारे सब गवर्नमेंट कॉलेजेस के धुरंधर लोग हैं। उनको क्या चैलेंज कर सकते हैं हम लोग?
सर अब मैं ये कह रही हूँ कि
जी
जब आपका सिलेबस ही मिस अलाइंड है,
जी
ठीक है, क्योंकि आपके 5 सब्जेक्ट्स जो है, 5 यूनिट्स, दे आर
जी
लाइक अ स्मॉल सबसेट्स ऑफ 5 सब्जेक्ट्स,
जी 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 जी
ठीक है। तो सिलेबस में प्रॉब्लम है, इसलिए जो कोर्स आउटकम उसको आप पांचों को एक साथ नहीं कर पाएंगे,
जी
तभी
जी।
वो यूनिट वाइज उन्होंने बना दिए होंगे।
या
या बट
ओके
इट
मैम।
इज नॉट द राइट प्रैक्टिस।
मैडम
यस।
दूसरा हमारा क्वेश्चन है
हाँ
कि
जी।
जब हम लोग अटेनमेंट कैलकुलेट करते हैं मैडम, तो एक एक थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू कंसीडर करते हैं।
हम्म
तो थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू, जैसे हम लोग इंटरनल मार्क्स कराते, सेशनल कराते हैं, तो
हम्म
पिछले मतलब करंट अगले साल के लिए जो हम अगर अटेनमेंट के लिए कोई थ्रेशोल्ड वैल्यू सेट करें, तो क्या प्रीवियस के 2 साल के एवरेज मार्क्स के बेस पे करें, या
हाँ।
क्या तरीका होना चाहिए बेस्ट
यस
पे?
सर। यस सर, अगर आप फर्स्ट टाइम कर रहे हैं या आप
नहीं, वी
चेक
आर
करना चाह
एग्रेडेड
रहे हैं,
इंस्टीट्यूट। हाँ
या तो आपको पिछले 3 साल का उस
हाँ
सब्जेक्ट का रिजल्ट देखिए,
जी।
ठीक है। उसका फिर क्लास एवरेज निकालिए,
हम्म।
और फिर देखिए कि जो क्लास एवरेज आया है उससे
हाँ
कितने परसेंट बच्चा कितने परसेंट मार्क्स ऊपर ले रहा है या कितना
जी जी जी।
परसेंट नीचे ले रहा है। उस
हाँ
बेसिस पे यू कैन सेट द क्राइटेरिया।
मैडम, हम लोगों ने एनबीए जब कराया था तो इसी वे में कराया था, लेकिन बीच में कोविड आ गया। कोविड के बाद फिर दोबारा हमें जाना पड़ा नैक में। तो
हम्म।
फिर हमने 2 साल का एवरेज लिया, बिकॉज उसमें वेरिएशन बहुत ज्यादा आ रहा था, या
हाँ
करिकुलम चेंज हो गया।
हाँ हाँ हाँ
तो
हाँ।
क्या अब 2 साल का भी ले सकते हैं, या करंट 1 साल का प्रीवियस ईयर्स का ले सकते हैं?
1 साल तो ठीक नहीं है, 2 साल भी कम है, लेकिन क्योंकि आपका बीच में कोविड पीरियड आ गया है,
जी
तो सर देखिए जब एनबीए टीम आती है आपको जस्टिफाई करना आना चाहिए जो आपने
जी
थ्रेशोल्ड लिया है,
जी जी जी।
ठीक है। क्योंकि
ओके मैम।
एनबीए ने किसी ने कोई रूल नहीं बनाया कि इतना
जी
होना
जी।
चाहिए इतना नहीं होना चाहिए।
ओके मैम,
आप
ओके,
जो
थैंक
ले
यू।
रहे हैं क्या क्राइटेरिया है, किस बेसिस पे है, अगर वो आप जस्टिफाई कर सकते हैं तो कोई गलत नहीं है।
मैडम एक चीज और पूछना चाहते हैं, जनरल आप, कि जो बच्चे आजकल असाइनमेंट हम लोग देते हैं,
हम्म
तो असाइनमेंट का जो इवैल्यूएशन है, मोस्ट प्रोबेबली हम लोग जानते हैं कि बच्चे नकल करके और टीप के उसको सबमिट कर देते हैं टीचर के पास, उसके बावजूद भी हम लोग उसको ग्रेड दे देते हैं। तो
हम्म
व्हाट इज द बेस्ट वे टू इवैल्यूएट द असाइनमेंट?
बेस्ट वे इज, आप पहले तो अगर पूरी हर बच्चे को अलग नहीं दे सकते हैं तो लेकिन कम से कम ग्रुप वाइज असाइनमेंट दे दीजिए।
या मैम, या मैम।
सेकेंड इज फिर आप टर्न इट इन सॉफ्टवेयर, प्लेगरिज्म वाले सॉफ्टवेयर है वो
जी
अगर खरीदे और बच्चे को एक्सेस दें तो उसमें आपको
जी जी
कवर पकड़ा जाएगा कि किसने नकल की है किसने नहीं की
जी 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 जी, हाँ। ओके मैम, ओके मैम, ओके, थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू सर। यहाँ डॉक्टर गंगा, you have written that
Good morning, ma'am.
code
Yes, ma'am. I have
assessment.
entered my question in the chat window.
Which assessment tool will be better for each level of bloom? मैम ये आपने डिसाइड करना है। अगर आपको टॉपिक है कि इफ यू वांट टू चेक ओनली दी से द रिमेम्बरिंग पार्ट, सो यू कैन गिव ओनली ओके मल्टीपल चॉइस क्वेश्चन, ठीक है। अगर आपको चेक करना है, उसको हायर ब्लूम्स लेवल क्रिएट करना है, डिजाइन करना है, तो फिर आप उसको क्वेश्चन बेस पे देंगे। अगर आपको सिंपल एनालिसिस या कुछ ऐसे ये चेक करना है कि उसने स्टूडेंट ने नॉलेज गेन की है कि नहीं की है, अंडरस्टैंड किया है कि नहीं, तो आप उसको असाइनमेंट दे देंगे। सो वो ऐसा कोई 1-to-1 मैपिंग नहीं है इसमें, है ना।